Right then, in this video I returned to Birmingham. Let's have an update of my favourite lifts in Birmingham, as well as finding a few new lifts which I haven't seen before. Let's go! So then, in Birmingham, let's first start off with one of the classic car parks. This car park used to have some epic Schindler Myconic M-Series lifts. These lifts were perfect. The best you can get, worked absolutely flawlessly, and were well built. This car park has now replaced their lifts, replaced them with Schindler 5500s, which is a downgrade because it's going from very high quality top of the range Myconic to middle of the range Schindler 5500. They should have modernised them with the updated Myconic logic rather than fully replace them, but oh well, building owners often make weird decisions like this. Now the Schindler 5500s are still in many ways just as good as the classic Myconics because they've got intelligent levelling, they've got pre-doors, they've got intelligent overrun. They've also got a new feature that the older Myconics didn't have, which is they've got intelligent pre-start, which Schindler 5500 and new Myconic does, but the old Myconic Vs didn't. So that's one upgrade, but the biggest downgrade is the actual build quality of the lift. While Schindler 5500 is a good lift, it's like better in a lot than what's out there, it's not as good as the classic era Myconic lift car. So I do consider it a downgrade.
Elevator is going up.
Fuck's sake, use the English voice.
Door closing. Floor 17. Door opening. Lift is going down.
Oh, this one has a better voice.
Closing.
Oh, and it beeps all the time, fuck's sake. Can't even hear motor above it beep.
Floor 12. Door opening.
Is that quicker? I felt quicker in the other one. So they've gone from a top of the range Schindler Myconic V, to a middle of the range Schindler 5500. Right, Schindler 5500 is pretty good, but it's not as good as what was there before. Oh, fucking folding fence, are you serious? Has got folding fence, there's plenty of room. No, actually maybe not. Oh well, so the other one. There's probably Myconic equipment still in that motor room, because it's changed to 5500. The bottom two floors are locked. Oh well. Let's see how it performs. And now along to the place where we were staying in Birmingham. A very, very, very cheap, what do you call this, B&B maybe? There's an accommodation above a pub. I've never stayed in accommodation above a pub before, and I probably won't do again. The thing is, the whole place smells of stale alcohol. Luckily the smell didn't quite make it into the rooms, but all the corridors and that stunk of old alcohol, and I just don't like that smell. The accommodation wasn't appalling because it did have ensuite bathrooms, so it was somewhat okay, but it's just so many things were broken in the room. The mirror was broken, but worst of all, the bed was broken. The mattress looked okay, but underneath the mattress, the wooden bed frame was just cracked, so as soon as you sat on the bed, you fell straight through it. Fuck, you literally fall right through this bed. Fucking hell. When you lie on this bed, you literally go back like that. So I actually had to put a mattress on the floor to be able to sleep on it. Also, the mattress was incredibly lumpy. I've actually slept better in abandoned buildings than this hotel. And now we go back to the classic, my favourite lift in Birmingham, the classic old express lifts which have been modernised by Otis. This lift goes 3 metres per second.
Doors closing.
Oh, got shaft lights. We've done this one with shaft lights.
Upper ground floor. Your doors open. Going up. Doors closing. 15th floor. Doors open.
And of course, I've got to return to Lovelock Bridge. Fucking hell, why is this still a thing? I took a piss out of this ages ago, and it's still here with all of the locks now looking very, very rusty. It'll probably drop off from rust in not too much longer. The whole weird thing about people putting locks on a bridge just to let the lock rust away, just like a relationship's probably already rusted away a very long time ago. And now let's go and do an update on the main boring shopping centre. First we go to the car park lifts. These lifts have had a refurbishment by Cone, but only using generic parts, and they had to reuse the Otis indicator simply because they didn't change the logic, meaning they were forced still to use Otis proprietary parts despite it was Cone doing the mod. That must have been fucking awkward. Now this here is Notice 2000. Got these buttons added Dewhurst buttons, so a little mod. This is only a light version, it's not actually a mod. But notice that Cone, it's got an Otis screen. Right, it's just weird. That's because Cone couldn't put in their own equipment because it's all proprietary Otis stuff. So they literally got an Otis screen and put it into their mod, and the rest of it's this Dewhurst rubbish. And along to the monster, known as Selfridges. Last time I was here, one of the lifts was being modernised. That modernisation is obviously now complete, but they never modernised the second lift. So these two lifts are no longer a set. They gave up. One's modded, the other isn't. That's fucking weird. The cheapest, nastiest generic here. That's the cheapest you can get, and they got a Dewhurst generic. I'm surprised they didn't finish the mod, so they started modernising them. Modernised one, but gave up and didn't modernise the other.
Doors closing. Doors closing.
It's got my favourite variant of Thames Valley. For a voice, it's got the weird posher version. The going up version, but the logic is something else, probably some Chinese crappy logic.
Going up. Level 1. Doors opening. Going up.
I really wonder what logic it's got for something really shit, because this is nastily cheap. But the quality is really bad on this.
Level 3. Doors opening.
And this one's got new lift logic, so a flashy button. Let's see if the signal floor works, because in the other one the key switch is there, but the key switch seems to be not wired. Let's see. With beeps. Let's see where we're off to. Off to a secret floor now. Ooh, secret. Well, that wasn't very interesting. Is this where the staff sit? Oh, I've got to be a plant room or a roof. And now along to Birmingham Library, which has got Otis Gen 2 lifts. But what's fucking strange about these lifts is every time you take a ride in these lifts, the lift talks shit to you. Why? I guess it's just some silly art thing.
The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep.
Why does this lift shut the shit every time it starts moving? It's so stupid. This lift literally shut the shit all the time. MG, what's MG?
The caged bird sings with a fearful trill, as things unknown but longed for still.
Mid-lower ground floor. Why is this lift shutting shit so much? Like every time you ride this lift, it chats shit to you. Let's see what shit is going to chat. It's time.
Was wicked, and the slided toes did gyre and dimble in the way.
And now along to this restaurant, which I just had to point out. This is one of these things back in the days of COVID where a government were one moment telling everyone to do one thing, then a week later they changed their mind. A lot of restaurants out there wasted a lot of money on these stupid John Lewis fake cable cars. These fake cable cars from John Lewis are so expensive, you might as well buy a real cable car. Well, maybe not, but you get your idea. This is a stupid overpriced garden ornament. Restaurants like this brought these silly fake cable cars because this counted as outdoor space, so they wanted to attract customers by customers being in somewhere where they won't be rained on, but it'd still count as being outdoors back in the days when restaurants weren't allowed to serve people indoors because of coronavirus. The government then changed their mind and decided that these fake cable cars did count as indoors and the restaurant couldn't use them. I feel sorry for restaurants like this that wasted thousands and thousands of pounds on these stupid fake cable cars, all thanks to the stupid government U-turning like crazy, like they always do. And now along to the car park with the lifts with the glass lift doors. Yeah, this is a classic in Birmingham. Never actually surfed these, I've always been too nervous because I thought I'd get caught. So fuck it, let's go surf it! And now we go along to the university. Universities can be very hit and miss with lifts. Sometimes they can have loads of weird and wacky buildings with little tucked away lifts which are interesting. Other times universities can be incredibly faceless. This one falls in the category of being faceless. There's not really much to it to say. Although I did find one interesting lift, which is a nice eco disc.
Going up. Third floor.
And now we go along to the Birmingham Tower Birmingham edition. And as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, the Birmingham Tower series is the only series of major posh tall towers in England owned by a private individual rich person. Although it's probably not personally owned by him, it's probably set up as some sort of trust sort of thing, but you get the idea. It's an individual person's private pet project to build tall skyscrapers. I must say, if I was ever a billionaire, this is exactly what I would do. Although what I find really annoying about Birmingham Towers is because this is personal tower, security's a lot more on it in these towers than pretty much any other tower I've been to. It's like personal to him as people go and explore his towers. Anyway, I'm just going in this tower quickly for an update. And not much has changed really. Still got 3.5 metre a second chandeliers, and for the taller half of the tower, these lifts are a bit slow. The Birmingham Tower is probably the most boring out of the 5 Birmingham Towers. And Mr. Birmingham's actually building a 6th one, so he's going to have 6 towers. This guy must be some sort of billionaire or something.
26th floor.
네, 나중에 가서